So I've recently just moved house and I'm now in Amersham, and I'm living with 3 other people, plus we've got someone who bubbles with us. So things can get very loud and very noisy. So I've come down to the little footpath that heads down to the woods to try and find a little bit of peace and quiet. Now, this path has actually been a really good place to come and find some solitude because it's been so muddy, so squishy, so squelchy, so slidey. I've not met a single another human being on this path at all since I started, and I've been here for quite a while. So it's actually been, although I nearly did slip over a few times, it's been a very good place to come and have some alone quiet time. And Jesus did this quite often in the Bible. He would go off by himself and find a quiet place to go sit, pray and be with God, away from the crowds and away from his disciples. Life can be very, very busy as we rush from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. And I have been challenged this week when I read the chapter in the book that we're doing to slow down. Slow motion life. Okay, that wasn't really slow motion. That was me pretending to be in slow motion. I have found myself challenged this week to take on the art of slowing down. And I've tried to do all the things recommended in that book. Things like when I went to the supermarket, I tried to pick the longest lane to go into so that I could really take my time. And I actually ended up having a really good conversation with the lady on the till. She thought I was a university student. I'm not, but it opened up a good conversation as I could tell her what it was that I did do for a living, working for a church. And then we had a bit of a chat as I packed up my fruit and my veg and my bread and paid for my groceries. The snow at the beginning of the week was also really, really helpful in my attempt at trying to slow down, because it meant that we threw out the schedule and we weren't following what we had initially planned, because suddenly everything was different. Another challenge I've taken on this week has been that as a house we've met for breakfast twice this week in the morning and had bacon butties for breakfast together before anything else happened, and we sat and we've eaten, we've laughed, we've joked, we've prayed together, and then we've begun our day. And it's been really nice, a really great start to the day. You're not waking up thinking, what should I have done by now? You're waking up thinking, I'm going to spend time with my friends, I'm going to pray, give the day to God, and then go about my day. And that has been, it's been really good. It's been a really good week, to be honest, of slowing down, living like a snail. One challenge in the book that I have found very hard, though, is to stay in the slow lane. The book says to try and purposefully keep driving in the slow lane. And since I've moved now from Eastcote to Amersham, and you guys are over here somewhere, I now take the M25 to work, and I found it, and I only go one junction, and I couldn't do it. I could not stay in the slow lane the entire way from even just one junction on the M25. There's just too many lorries, and there's so many lanes on the M25. It just feels really unnecessary to sit behind a lorry getting sprayed with salty, gritty water when I could easily just go round. So I have failed in that challenge of slowing down. I didn't go into the fast lane, but I didn't stay in the slow lane. I think lockdown to some extent has forced us all to slow down, and we found things that have been crossed off our calendar, and we've had a lot of extra time on our hands, and we've had to think, how do we use this extra time? How do we use it wisely? And some ideas in this book have been very helpful for me. So I've learned quite a lot about myself and about what difference it makes to try and slow down and live life without too much hurry and without too much rush. And so this week, I think that's our challenge to you, if you think you can handle it, to try and slow down, and who knows, maybe you'll do a lot better job than me of driving in the slow lane.